the code on how to break. I'm giving you the tools on how to break the hypnotic code that the reptilians, insectoids, and some of the other entities that are here, unbeknownst to you, have over you. And part of it is hypnotic. Some of them are using technology to hide. Me and my people, we broke this code a while ago, and we've been seeing a plethora of entities of all kinds. I mean, more than we would like, but they're here, and I've seen them firsthand in quite a few of my people. So here is the code, and this is how you do it. It is a hypnotic code, and they cannot do it without your consent. They do some sort of hypnotic thing over us, a veil over us, so that we're not able to actually know that they're even here, or even to think that we can break down anything that they have over us. So this is what you do. When you are in the midst of walking out, now this has worked for me. This is how I initially did it, is anytime something would come in front of me, and I say something because you never know who's in front of you, I would internalize almost like a mantra that I am breaking the code of disillusion of any entity outside of myself, cloaking itself or not showing itself for what it was. I am not in agreement of that, the disillusion. So I break the code of dissolution. Did I say that? Yeah, I'm breaking the code of disillusion. And I say that in my head. However you want to word it, it has to be breaking the code of disillusion, because it's an illusion that they're putting on you, a hypnotic illusion. So you say it in your head. You can say it out loud. I mean, if you don't want people to think you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you could do that out loud too. But you say it in your mind. It's just as relevant and relative. Some of you may have to verbalize it, maybe for you to be able to break, the MK Ultra they have over your brain being asleep anyway, for your, for the veil. So I break the code of disillusion. And what happens is that it's a gradual thing for some people. I don't know what consciousness, because some people who want this information are probably not conscious. There's a lot of entities that came on the last video that you could tell were empty seeders. They're just coming for the information and for the gems, because a lot of them are parasitic, or leeches. They come just for the information to pull so they can utilize it for themselves. But if you're an empty seeder, what happens a lot of times, if you don't have a soul or you're not very conscious, when I say conscious, you're not really awake and aware, it takes a little bit more time for the disillusion to come off. And when you start to see it, you'll start to see aspects of these entities in front of you. They're us. Now, when you start to see them, they notate that you can see them, because some of you have some, I've gotten emails, some of you freaked out. Let these entities know, we had some issues. I don't want to go too much onto the video about some of the things that were occurring when they watched the previous video of breaking the code of seeing the reptilians. People were seeing it and they were freaking out. And I told them, if you are not prepared to see another entity of another species that you didn't even know was here, residing here and living amongst you, don't do it. It'll freak you out, and it will freak out that entity, because now they realize that and just like the movie with Rowdy Piper, rest in peace, Rowdy Piper. That's also an occult thing that just happened now during the year 2015 to usher in, some almost like I think that was for the Dark Cabal. They always plan something to do. Remember, they use occult stuff because they don't have any abilities. So all they have to do, they have to go to deities and demons to do their dirty work for them, because they don't have any abilities, because they don't have a soul. A lot of them are empty souls, or the MK Ultra. They don't have natural abilities that a lot of the souls have capable if they rise above a certain frequency. So I'll get back, because I go off tangent. Breaking the code of disillusion. You break it in your head. Say, I'm breaking the code of disillusion. I'm choosing to see all that is before me. Say it in your head, and you can word it in a way, but have to be breaking the disillusion, because if you use any other word, we've tried other words and it hasn't worked. The same as saying, I break the code of disillusion. I choose to see what's before me. I found that it worked almost instantaneously, at least for me. I told you, I saw the guy who was working around my home, surveying my home. He was coming in to survey it, And I said it in my head before he came, but I felt something before this, because he called, because I was off getting coffee to say he was going to be here. And when I came, I saw his eyes shift in front of me. I mean, it was like it wasn't that long. That's at the beginning when I first broke the code, but his eyes went to being, like a serpent's eyes, like a reptilian's eyes. The slanted, vertical looking eye shape. And as soon as it happened, he felt it. And it's weird because I always thought that I'd see it and they wouldn't notice. Like, he felt it shift. It's almost like me acknowledging to break that code. He wasn't able to hold his form, and he felt it. Almost like that form is being held artificially by something else. There's a lot to this. We don't know a lot about these entities residing with us. Again, these are different entities that have been existing and residing here, remember, on the surface of the planet, inner Earth, and out in the galaxy, out in the galactic part, outside in space. So a lot of them have been residing here side by side with us, and we don't know. And really, their shape in front of you is not what it seems. We think that there's biobots walking around, and and there are ETs that are wearing biosuits that look humanoid. There was another movie I saw. Oh, I gotta give you the name of that. It was freaky. It went into like that clone thing. But anyway, I can't remember it now. But break the code of disillusion in your head. You will start to see them. And again, depending on your consciousness, when I say consciousness, some of you, listen, it's not a judgment. But if you're like a flesh eater, regularly eating lots of parasitic flesh, and you drink wine and beer and liquor every day because it's a necessity, and you drink a lot of soda, your consciousness is very limited. Because obviously if you're engaging like that in the world with your own body, it's hampering your receptivity to be able to get out of the MK Ultra, or out of the mind control, or out of the parasitic control that's going on inside of you. So that's what I'm saying. Some of you may not get the results, but all for my awake people, for my conscious people, this information was initially for my subscribers. And I only had a few at the time, but it was really for my subscribers, because we were playing with trying to see these entities and trying to see if we could find ways to identify them. A lot of them know what's going on, and I believe that video went viral. And I mean, it went viral. I didn't expect it, but when it did, I noticed that a lot of these entities started to wear sunglasses all the time. All the time, more so than normal. Like, I'm not saying, like, I live in a warm, hot, tropical area. I get that. And sunglasses, for a lot of different reasons, people wear them, for, fashion, or for necessity because the sun is too bright. But I found that after the code breaking video, because, I live in a pretty predictable area, I see generally the same people. Those entities that I noted to be others, and some of them were reptilians. Now, mind you, I was seeing reptilian eyes at the very beginning when I first broke the code. It has since progressed to entities whose eyes were totally black, or totally like a dark bluish looking hue. Like the whole inside of their eye was totally, there was no white showing when I broke the code. And then I would see aspects of their neckline change as my consciousness raised. I started to see like indentations in some of their necks. It was weird, or in their face showing up. I wouldn't say it was like leopard-like, but it was like weird, almost tribal type of things showing up on their face. I haven't identified what those entities are. Remember, there's a whole plethora of other creatures, entities living here, interdimensional too. And remember, we've gone up to a different dimension as well. We're in fourth. So I may be noting things that were coexisting with us that knew we existed, but we weren't aware of them. And now they're showing up. But when you break the code of disillusion, these entities show up. And I have to put a disclaimer on here. Do not do it. I was getting emails. I told you, don't do it if you're not ready. And I'm only remaking this video because I feel there are some people who need to know what they're working with. Some of you are kicking with some entities and they are not what you think they are. And we talked about this. You see my other videos on clones, walk-ins, empty seaters. But we don't even talk about the incarnates, the demons, the ETs, the biobots, the robotoids. I mean, and you know, back in the days when we were talking about this, people thought we were, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and a lot of us knew this existed because we were in this world a bit. And some of the star seeds walk in. You have this natural propensity to seek out this type of information and to reveal the truth to yourself. But now, all of y'all are seeing this is real. This is 100% fact. These entities are here and they've been coexisting. And I don't judge them and say if they're bad or good. I can't really say. I don't. Some of you had an issue with why are they hiding themselves? Because some of us are crazy. Some of us humans are crazy and like to kill things that they don't understand. I mean, you see there were parts of the country where they found all these hybrid type of animals and stuff, or hybrid animals being born with like faces, humanoid faces. And the first thing they do is kill it and then show it all over, preserve it and, display it. So would you blame them? When Sasquatch and the Yeti and stuff are hiding, do you blame them from hiding from you mofos? I'm sorry. Let's be honest. Even though we're breaking the code here, be honest. There's a reason why they should hide, because a lot of you are not conscious. Some of you think it's okay to just kill people just based on differences or not liking them, or they stare at you too long. You just think it's fun. Some of you are still hunting and kill things for sport. Not for necessity of food or clothing, but for sports. So let's keep it 1,000 people. I'm excited because I'm going to do this video again and again. This is how you break. You have to break the code of disillusion in your mind. It is in your mind. Once you state it internally or externally, you will begin to see it. Now you can mantra it and say it a couple times. 3 is always a wonderful way to get things. 3 is a number. If you say things 3 times, it solidifies it. So if you say in your head, I'm breaking the code of disillusion, I want to see what's before me. I'm breaking the code of disillusion, I want to see what's before me. I'm breaking the code of disillusion, I want to see what's before me. You will see it. And again, depending on your consciousness and your healthiness, those who are still very indoctrinated and MK Ultra as far as chemicals, mentally with religion or what have you, it's going to take you a little longer. Some of the religious people too, we're seeing it right away. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that could hamper the instantaneousness of it coming towards you, like you seeing it right away. But mine was initially, it happens. I told you the gentleman came, I saw his eyes and then it went away, but he noticed it. And then after that, I was seeing them back to back. And then I started to see other entities. I was starting to see those reptilian ones. Those are the ones I first saw. And then when I started to see, probably the other ones freaked me out because they're insectoids or some sort of robotoids. I don't know what they are, but their eyes were completely black and or completely like a dark blue, it was eerie. It didn't freak me out, but I was getting a lot of subscribers or people who were coming on that were freaked out because it was happening to them too quickly and they couldn't handle it. And what happens is those entities noted it, and some of them were being, I don't know if it was stalked or they just, if they see you and you see them, they may be as curious as how you can see them. And that video, I try to keep it up as long as possible, but they sent the drone, they sent the minions to the video and I couldn't control it. It had a mind of its own, but I'm making it, I don't really care at this point. I want you guys to be able to see it, all of you. I mean, we in 2000, the time of the great reveal, and this is the time you're able to see it. And I think it's only fair for everybody to have the option to know what they're dealing with in front of them so that you can act and walk in the world accordingly. Okay. And again, I don't judge any of these entities. I don't know what they're here for. They've been living here and obviously we're still existing with them. So if they wanted to harm us, they could have very well did so because they were cloaking themselves. Okay. So don't get freakish and so on. We have a very low consciousness too, that when we find out something looks different than us or is different than us, we tend to want to destroy and attack it. And that could be why definitely the motivation for these entities not showing themselves up as they are. Probably freak a lot of you out. And some of you are not healthy. As via my other video, the comments coming were just, it's very sad. Some of you didn't get hugs as children. It's very sad and you may need a hug now, but here's the code. Break the code of disillusion. I break the code of disillusion. I choose to see what's before me and you will see it. It's as simple as that, and it works. Again, depends on your level of consciousness. For those very, very conscious, very healthy as far as your vessel is concerned, you're going to see it right away. For others, it'll take a little bit more time. But tell me how it goes. Please don't listen. And I gave you the warning. Do not do this if you're freakish about stuff. If you have to leave lights on at night when you go to sleep, when you watch scary movies, or you're a little freakish about stuff that you see that looks odd to you, don't do it. It'll mess with your peace of mind. They're going to show up anyway eventually because the veil is breaking down, but don't do it. It's disconcerting to some, and again, I don't judge what we see in front of us. I think we're seeing reptilians, insectoids, and a couple other race of ETs that I didn't even know existed. So have fun with it. Let me know how it goes. Again, this is Breaking the Code of the Reptilians, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I love you. This is Froboom. See you again.